Metallica's Kirk Hammett opened his mouth and said something about guitar solos, and obviously a whole bunch of YouTube guitarists just lost their shit. Let's have a look and see what was this unforgivable thing that Kirk Hammett said that got our noble YouTube guitarists so triggered. Non-musicians are not going to remember a great guitar solo. In his recent interview, he said, people are not going to remember a great guitar solo. They will remember a great melody. They will remember a great song. And I'm not talking about musicians. Yeah, musicians will remember a great guitar solo, but non-musicians, who are the majority of the fucking listening world, they are not going to remember guitar solos. And also earlier this year, Kirk Hammett dismissed the idea that his solo on Metallica's Lux Eterna is so bad because it isn't hard to play. So Kirk said this gut-wrenching things, and a whole bunch of people got a little upset, okay? For fairness, some legit people and some valid points. One of those people was Angel Vivaldi. Now, Angel Vivaldi loves to dress like a gay pirate, but he's a pretty good guitar player. Angel said he himself is a reason why guitar solos are dying.
Shots fired.
Angel Vivaldi hits back at Kirk Hammett's claim that most listeners don't care about solos anymore. It's possible that because none of his solos landed the way they did in the past, that it helped to further extinguish his opinion on how important they are. Angel continued, couldn't be further from the truth. If the solo is written by a songwriter and not a lazy guitarist relying on muscle memory, your solo will stay with people forever.
FEUD alert.
Angel Vivaldi does have a point. Kirk Hammett does use pentatonics a lot in his solos. Like a lot. And I think when Angel Vivaldi said, like lazy guitarists who rely on muscle memory, this is partially what he's referring to. So let's talk about this. Non-musicians are not going to remember a great guitar solo. Yes or no? So when we're talking about the memorability of guitar solos, we're not just talking about how easy they are to remember. I think part of this discussion also pertains to the impact of guitar on the musical culture and the music-loving community. Before we even talk about the impact of the guitarist as an individual, one thing we have to keep in mind is the impact of the current musical culture on the memorability of those guitar solos, right? What do I mean by this? You have a scenario where in the 90s and the early 2000s, the rock and metal had a very high presence in the musical culture. Now you're in a place where it's predominantly R&B, trap, and hip-hop, right? These are the dominating music genres right now. So we can sit down and discuss why this trend has taken place. You could argue, trap and hip-hop music are simpler, therefore easier to listen to. That might explain part of the reason why this shift has happened, because a lot of the people that are just introduced to music, they don't need any ear training or anything of that sort. They just get gravitated towards what's easier to listen because it's simpler. Another factor that has contributed to this is that you can create a hip-hop beat from your laptop. So all you need is a microphone and a laptop and you're good to go. You don't need to learn how to play the guitar. You don't need to, whatever. It's a lot easier. Just open the laptop, write the stuff down. Everything is electronic. So that probably also have to do with a bit of that shift. And so now it's a scenario where you got more people listening to hip hop and then you come in and introduce them to a guitar solo from a metal song. And of course, they're going to find it hard to, remember that. Of course, they're going to have a harder time to link with that. Now, shifting this back to the artists, the guitar solos are not what they used to be either, right? So the 90s guitar solos, predominantly, a majority of them, were very simple, pentatonic based. They were easier to play, they were easier to remember. Guys, there are a few major factors that contribute to memorability of a song, right? Emotional resonance is one of them, how you feel the music, right? Artistry and the musicianship, so how skilled you are as a musician or as an artist that produced that music. But a very important factor is the simplicity of it. There is a rule of thumb in the music community that if the layperson, if the audience, if the non-musician person can't hum it and can't sing it, they're not going to be able to remember it. So simplicity is also an important factor. Now, as you move away from 90s, where the famous guitar solos was what, Still Loving You of Scorpions and November Rain and whatever. And then you move to 2024 where, you have a beautiful evolution, improvement of guitarists and musicians. But as a consequence of it, the songs are a lot more complicated. So you mean to tell me that a non-musician audience is going to find this song memorable? And by the way, I'm not shitting on Polyphia. I'm a massive fan of Polyphia. They've introduced something new. What they do feels like fresh breeze. I love that song that I just played. Tim Henson is a phenomenal guitar player. I'm a massive fan of their work, so this is by no stretches shitting on Polyphia. But let's be honest with ourselves. Like, if you have a non-guitarist come into the room and you play this song for them, and you get them to listen to this song 20 times, and you ask him to hum the hook, right? They're not going to be able to do it. It's harder to remember. Like, I've listened to that song a whole bunch of times. I can't hum it. How do you hum that? Like, it's not. I can't hum it. Can you hum it? You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to work. So this is where I think Kirk Hammett is right. Have a listen and see what he told Rick Beato.
One riff. It's really cool, but really simple and basic. Like, super simple and basic, but it's effective, Progressive stuff that get to the point, yes. Simple stuff that are super effective, yes. Super busy stuff or a lot of unnecessary notes, no.
You have to admit that he knows something or two about a good guitar solo. So I get it that in the push to become progressive and innovative, you become less simple, and a lot of times to keep the simplicity, you are less innovative. It's a hard thing to balance out. I totally get that. However, as guitar music lovers, we have to understand that for the guitar music to become more memorable, we have to find this balance and do it right. More and more young people are listening to hip hop, less and less to metal, rock, or any other guitar music. And then you have people like myself who are born in, mid 90s or early 2000s, where we, grew up with a lot of these songs. We grew up with a lot of Metallica songs, Bullet for My Valentine, Trivium, and all those bands. And as we keep listening to same genre over and over, we become more sophisticated, so the progressive stuff is really attractive to us. It's something new, there's a twist to it, there has a complexity that we understand it, but you have to recognize that for normal non-guitar music listening audience, or for non-musicians, it is becoming harder and harder to listen to guitar music because the people that are creating those guitar musics are catering to us, who are already familiar with this type of music, and so we would appreciate something more complicated as opposed to them. Kirk is right. When it comes to talking about making music memorable for non-musicians and for non-guitar listening audience, Kirk is right. Simple can make it memorable. Complex can't make it memorable. So in that spirit, I'll be calling it a day. Now, before I log off, something very important. Today is January 2nd, 2024, and I wanted to wish you and your loved ones a super 2024 ahead. I wish you all the health, I wish you all the wealth, and I wish you all the happiness in the world. And please like this video and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next.